Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of Unit 8. So this is the last part of Unit 8. So after this, there should be a review, and then you're preparing for your second quiz. Now, last part, everything has been always about radicals. So now we're trying to solve equations and inequalities with radicals. So that is our goal. So let's kind of get in here. So computer chips made from the element silicon, which is found in sand. Suppose a company that manufactures computer chips uses this formula to estimate the cost in dollars of producing N chips. What would be the cost to produce 27,000 chips? So my cost then would be 10, but then instead of N, I'm going to put 27,000 raised to the 1/3 plus 1,500. Now, order of operations, be careful, order of operations, I've got to raise that 27,000 to the 1/3 first. I'm going to take 27,000 raised to the 1/3 power, which is taking the third root of it, and I'm going to get 30. So 20 is like saying the third root of 27,000. Okay, so that's going to be 30. So 30 times 10 should be 300. So my final answer is going to be $1,800. So it's going to be $1,800 to produce 27,000 chips. All right, I really hope that's not true, because that means they're charging a whole bunch of money for chips that don't cost very much. So, solving each equation. So what I want to do here is solve. Check my answer. So I'm going to go square root of x plus 1 equals 2. So then I have to square both sides. So x plus 1 equals 4. Also remember, so let's take a look here. So x minus 1 minus 1. So that's going to be x equals 3. So now I check, does my answer work? So if I go 3 plus 1, take the square root of it, add 2, does that equal 4? Yes, it does. That's my answer. For number 2 gets a little bit hairier here. So what I'm going to do is this. So right away I've got this square root on this side and I've got this square root on this side. I'm going to square both sides. So if I square this, this leaves me with x minus 15. This side gets a little bit trickier, so it's going to be 9 minus 6 square root of x plus x. Alright, so all I did for this one, 3 minus square root of x, 3 minus square root of x, fill that in. So that becomes negative 3 square root of x, negative 3 square root of x. This just becomes a positive x, that becomes 9. So now I've got something I can work with here. So now I'm going to actually solve for this one again. So I'll subtract x from both sides, because that goes away. I will subtract 9 from both sides. That'll give me negative 24 equals negative 6 square root of x. I will move over here so I don't have that piece of cake in the way. So I will take negative 24 equals negative 6 square root of x, divide by negative 6. So that gives me positive 4 equals square root of x. So now if I square both sides again, x equals 16. So by this solving using algebra, I got x to equal 16. So then if I look, I got to check my answer. So does 16 work in here? So if I take 16 minus 15, take the square root, 3 minus the square root of 16, does that work? Well, let's see. This would be 16 minus 15, so that would be the square root of 1, which is 1. Square root of 16 would be 3 minus 4, that equals negative 1. Does 1 equal negative 1? No. So my solution doesn't work. So my answer then is going to be no solution. There's my answer. No solution. That's why I've got to check my answers here. So if I don't put that in there, I'm going to be wrong. So So if I solve each equation here, add 1, add 1, add 1. Square root of x minus 2 equals 6. I square both sides. X minus 2 equals 36. So if I'm looking over here at 5, my first step needs to be add 2. Now, rewritten, this would be the fourth root of 2y plus 6 equals 2. So to get rid of that, I want to multiply it to the power of 4. So that'll give me 2y plus 6 equals 2 raised to the 4th, which is going to be 16. So then it just becomes a simple math problem. But I've got to check my answer. So if I put in 5 here, 2 times 5 plus 6 equals 16. If I take the fourth root of that, I will get 2 minus 2 equals 0. Checks out. There's my answer. Y is going to equal 5. So, for number 6, 3y plus 1 raised to the 1/3 equals negative 5. So then if I raise both sides to the third power, 3y plus 1 should equal negative 125. So 3y will equal negative 126. So y is going to equal 42, negative. So negative 42. So if I put in there negative 42 times 3, so if I substitute it back in here, plus 1, that's going to give me negative 125. Raised to the 1/3 power equals negative 5. Plus 5 does equal 0. Boom! Got it. Negative 125 is my answer. So negative 42 is going to be the correct thing I want. So negative 42 is going to be what I put there. Always checking. I'm always checking. So remember this. We're now switching to inequalities. So remember, you got to take a look here. So if I subtract 2, 4x minus 4 is going to be not 6, but 4. So if I square both of these guys, that's going to be 4x minus 4 less than or equal to 16. So 4x is going to be less than or equal to 20. So x should be less than or equal to 5. There's my answer. So for 8, subtract 1, subtract 1. 2x plus 2 greater than or equal to 4. Square, square. 2x plus 2 greater than or equal to 16. So 2x greater than or equal to 14. So x is going to be greater than or equal to 7. There's my answer. Bam. Thank you for playing. Here we go. So here, so if I've got to go 4x minus 4, sorry, that's pretty sloppy. You know what? That should be 6, not 2. So then if I square it, I'll come over here. I should get 4x minus 4 less than 36. 4x less than 40. X less than 10. Bam, there's my answer. So over here, subtract 4, subtract 4. So 3x minus 6 less than or equal to 9. Divide by 3, divide by 3, x has got to be less than or equal to 5. Okay, so let's take a look here. The ponderal index P is the measure of a person's body based on height and mass, and the formula is given as so. A 70-kilogram person is 1.8 meters tall, has a ponderal index of about 229. How much weight should a person gain and still have an index of at most 2.4? All right, so you're looking for M. You have the height as 1.8, all right, and you want to be less than or equal to 2.4. So the first thing I would do is multiply by 1.8. So 2.4 times 1.8 is going to be 4.32, and that will give me the third root of M. So then when I third root this thing, or give it to the third power, M should be less than or equal to 80.6216. But now they said how much could a person gain. So from 70 to that, so I'm going to subtract it. So it'll be 10.6216. So this is how much they can gain at most and still be under 2.4. So they can gain 10 more kilograms of weight. All right, I don't know why this assignment is sponsored by McDonald's, but get going on your work and come talk to me with questions.